Why is this go live? Okay, can you hear me now? Everybody can hear me? Hello, hello. Hello. Oh. Right. Good. Now I hope you can hear me now. Oh, that's good. Oh, wonderful. Right. Okay. So let's get started. Let me change the screen. Okay. So now you can see this one. Okay. I was just about to say welcome everybody on the Sunday afternoon. So I'm so glad that you come along. Well, Malaysia is having a lockdown, so therefore there's nothing much we can do other than perhaps learn up something useful, right? So today's lecture is going to be quite a simple one because I understand there are two type of audiences in this attending this lecture. One is those who have very minimal knowledge about BaZi. Of course, the other one have some background knowledge because probably you have studied from somewhere before, right? So I think, so I'm not going to go in too technical unless I have a little bit extra time, then I might share a case. But in any case, today is just a general sharing, okay, just to understand, especially these two words, Ming Ming and Yun. So what is this Chinese character of Ming and Yun? So let's understand a little bit. Okay. Now in Chinese terms, we always call Ming Yun, but Ming Yun actually in English is normally termed as destiny. Destiny. Okay. Now it comprises of two words, Ming and Yun. Ming, if we read it, it's translated to maybe like life or fate. Of course, some people when they see the word fate, they get a little bit upset because they think that whoa, everything is fated, right? But actually, in a way, it's quite true. But I'm going to give you a bigger picture of what this thing is all about so that you understand it better, so you don't be too worried or apprehensive about this word fate. Okay, it's not fatalistic. Okay, fate and fatalistic is two different things. It's not fatalistic. So this fate thing actually is basically talking about our life capacity. Life capacity means that whether you have the ability to achieve big things in life, for example, or will your life have a good marriage, or will you have filial or capable children, okay, or maybe your career will do well, maybe you have inheritance, things like that. So basically this part of it, this Ming part of it, is more or less telling us about capacity. Capacity can also means like, for example, well, some people go through divorces, some people have multiple marriages, right? So pretty much this is a little bit mentioned in the Ming part or the fate part of your destiny. Then the fate actually has two parts of it to it. So if I borrow the terms used by Dr. Stephen Covey in the book of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think Dr. Covey has put it in very, very nicely, because he says that in life we have two circles. One is our circles of concerns, and the other one is our circles of influence. Now, circle of concern deals with things that you cannot change, and even science and gurus like Dr. Covey also recognizes there are some things in life we cannot change. For example, who's your dad, right? Who's your mom? You're born a male or you're born a female. You're born in Malaysia, right? Things like that. Or you're born in Africa, whatever. So there are things that is undeniable, you can't change, right? So these are our circles of concerns. But the second part to this Ming or the fate part is the circle of influence. That means there are things that we can do something about it. Now, to do something about it, we need to understand, we must first have the knowledge where or how or which area that we need to work on. Because there are so many things in our life, right? So if we work on the wrong area, then we're wasting our time. So we need to work on the right area so that we have the shortest path to get what we want. But the understanding part is the trick. Where do you get that information in order for you or for us to put in the best human action? Because I mean it, we have limited time on earth, right? And we also have limited energy. We don't have energy to work 24 hours a day. So we have energy probably for 4 or 5 hours maximum. That's the best energy, right? The rest of it is pretty much second level energy, right? So that 4 or 5 hours, you're going to work on your best. But the thing is that, are you putting your effort in the right place? Now, this is the key thing. I think every motivation guru or science or psychologist will also tell you the same thing, right? You need to put the best energy in the right place. Therefore, you will see better improvement in life or whatever you do, right? In your project, in your whatever planting your for example, your garden, right? You put the right fertilizer, you give it the right amount of sunshine, that particular plant will grow very fast, right? So this is the same. This is so much of the Ming part. Okay, so let's digest this a little bit. Now we look at the Yun. You look at the word Yun here. You see this Chinese word here with a dot and this little like a shape of a boat. This one has a little image of a boat, like a man standing on a boat. So the Yun is talking about the luck cycles. So when you see this little image of the boat here, it shows you that actually it's like somebody traveling on a river or sea, So it tells you something dynamic, something moving, right? Something moving, and this is called a time-changing factor. Now, why is it time-changing factor? Now, imagine, so for now you're taking you're rowing a boat, right? You're going to row a boat from one end of the lake to the other end of the lake. So you may start your journey in the morning from this side of the lake. By the time you reach the other end of the lake, probably it's already noon. So what is the difference? So you see that actually you've been traveling in the morning, 8 o'clock, when it's still cooling, and when the time you reach the other end, it's already very hot in noon. So time has evolved, right? There is a influence of time. So the luck tells us that we have dynamic things that will move, and we will move along during the luck cycle. And this luck cycle also have a significant influence into our destiny. Because as we just mentioned, destiny made of Ming and Yun. There are two parts to it. Okay, so this is the idea of destiny and luck. But luck, here again I have to say, there are three types of luck. So as you can see here, there's the major luck, then there's a thing called the minor luck, and finally you have something called earth luck. Now this earth luck part, I think most teacher, even you have studied in some party school, nobody mentioned this one. Usually they only mention 1 and 2. Now let me explain a little bit what is this 1 and 2 and 3. Major luck is the major influence. That's why it's given the name major luck or Taiwan, or the big one, big luck. Why they call big luck in Chinese. So it's major luck means because it has a bigger or stronger influence onto our life. Right? So that is the major luck. So the minor luck has a smaller or lesser intensity or lesser effect onto us. So that one usually lasts a year, whereas the major luck lasts 10 years. Okay, 10 years. Minor, 1 year. Then finally, what is earth luck? Earth luck is what's happening around you. For example, in Malaysia, we have a lockdown now because of the pandemic, right? So now we are on 6th of June, right? 6th of June, we are having a lot of cases. But other countries may be very less. So this is what's happening around us. This is called earth luck. Or maybe you have a local government that is very supportive. Then you're lucky because you have good earth luck, because your local government is capable and supporting. Or maybe you are having a earthquake around your area. So that is also part of earth luck, because earth luck basically encompasses whatever that's happening surrounding us that affects our life directly. Okay, this is earth luck, and usually this is the part we cannot control, and that is probably the reason why most school or teachers, they never mention the third part. But you must understand that it's the third part that is influencing our life, right? I think no matter how good a luck you are now, unless you are in the healthcare business, I think most people will suffer one way or another when it comes to due to this COVID-19 pandemic, right? So some people's livelihood are affected. Like now we're having 2 weeks of lockdown in Malaysia. There are many people who cannot run their business, so they are also suffering losses, right? So this is also part of things or factors that could influence the outcome of our destiny. So this is a gist or big picture of what is destiny all about. So in the next coming slide, I will share with you a little bit more things. Okay, so let's do a bit technical. Okay, so most people, those of you especially, those of you who don't know BaZi, how many of you have never learned BaZi before? How many of you? If you have not learned before, just say no and type N, then in the chat, then I will know who has not learned yet. Now, so if you have not learned, also let me share with you some technical things. Now, this box here, the red color one, the Ming part of our life. Okay, now, so that is why this thing is called BaZi. BaZi in Chinese is called 8 characters. 8 characters. Why 8 characters? You see, 8 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. So they say BaZi. BaZi means 8 characters. Some people they call 4 pillars. Say 1 pillar, Pillar means they took at the whole thing, like a pillar, right? So there are 4 pillars. So the whole reason is that because it all comes from your date of birth and time of birth. Now, in some countries, especially in European countries, they are not so concerned about the hour of birth. So most of them, they don't know their hour of birth. But the hour of birth is very, very, very important. Sometimes you may have not so good year and month, but if your hour is good, then your life can improve a lot. So next time, remember for your children or for your grandchildren, try to take down the hour of birth, right? The hour of birth is quite important. It's very important, in fact, because it represents many things. I will share with you what does the hour represent. Okay, so for all of you who have learned, then maybe you will know. But for those of you, I will tell you shortly. Yeah. Now the Yun part is a little bit long. Now, why is it that long? Actually, it's not because it's long, because it consists of multiple pillars. You look at these numbers here. You see, there's a 6, right? So different people start their luck at different age. Some starts at 3, some start at 5, some at 6, some 7, some 8. So it depends on your chart. The calculation will come out and show you which year you will start your first major luck. So this is the major luck. So it's 10 years, right? You notice from 6 to 16. So it's a period of 10 years. Right. So every 10 years, we will change a luck cycle. Okay, now we will change the luck cycle. Now you see that the okay, let me show you. Okay, what this sex thing about? So it's not about sex. It's because why I mentioned the word sex here is because men and women have different direction in terms of luck. So men will go maybe forward cycle. The women will go reverse cycle. So even you have a twin of a different sex, they will have different life, because by virtue one is a male, and the other is a female. So therefore they will have different life as well, because their path will be different. Right? The Yun tells us a path. So when we will have our ups and when we will have our downs. So this is very much dependent on the luck cycle. So in BaZi, one thing very important, we must know when we will have good luck and when we are going into bad luck. So in my years of doing consulting, I can tell you BaZi, when it comes to luck cycle, it's very accurate. Okay, this is also my personal experience as well as feedback from clients. So BaZi has this very good strength. Compared to the other system that I heard of is the Purple Star Astrology, right? When it comes to accuracy of the luck cycle changes, BaZi is really, really, so far I see it's good accuracy. Okay, so the luck cycle is, look at it, it's 10 years, right? So every 10 years you see the Chinese character changes. So meaning you are going through different phases of your life, you will meet different things. So what are the different things that you will see? Okay, then we will know about it later. Okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay. So now let me give you a glimpse of what is this this Ming about. Okay, let's look at this Ming thing. Now Ming is like, what is your purpose in your life? So different people have different purposes. Okay? Some people are born a truck, for example. They have different life capacity, right? And some people are born a sports car, some people are born a motorbike, a Beetle, and some people a pickup truck. So everybody is having a different profile. So from your BaZi, you can gauge what type of BaZi is this. Will this person become very successful in life, or just averagely, or will he become a CEO and things like that. So from there we can tell, from the Bazi alone we can tell roughly, maybe not 100%, but a very good percentage of it we can tell if this person will have a good life, right? Good destiny. Now, so but this word, Chinese word, they call it Tian Ming, heaven destiny. Now, what is this Tian Ming? This Tian Ming thing is very, very important. Okay, very, very important. It means that what is your purpose in life? You see, the most important thing about us in life is that everybody wants to be useful, right? Everybody wants to be useful. Nobody wants to be a useless person. But the thing is that why some people are frustrated, then they get into depression, they do funny things in life. It's because they don't understand. For example, if a chicken, you look at a chicken, right? You expect a chicken to fly like an eagle? It's not possible, right? The chicken can try his whole life trying to fly as high as the eagle. He will never achieve it. Because the reason is very simple. The reason is very simple. It's because you're not meant for it. So a truck is not meant for racing. A sport car is not meant for carrying loads, right? A pickup truck is not good for traffic jams, right? A motorbike will do a better job in traffic jams, right? So this is the meaning. We must understand what is our purpose. Everybody in this life has a purpose, has a contribution to society. But you must understand what is your contribution, and you must be realistic about it. If not, forever you'll be chasing, and you get very frustrated. And most of the time you vent that frustration onto people who are innocent, like maybe your wife, your children, right? Or your friends, or whoever, your dog. So this is the problem. So we must understand our destiny. Not everybody is born to be a CEO, right? Otherwise, who's going to do the job, right? Somebody has to be the accountant. Somebody has to be the production manager to plan out the production, right? Somebody has to be the operator to operate the machine. So this is the thing. Life is like this, right? So it's very, very realistic, right? So I don't want to give you life like people say, I want to give you hope. Yeah, it's good to have hope in life, no doubt about that. But to have an unrealistic hope is like asking the chicken to fly like an eagle. I think this person will die frustrated, right? So when he dies, the eye cannot close. So you die with eyes open. Why? Because frustrated, no answer in life. So the understanding of destiny is also sometimes gives us some idea what is our life coming to be. And this alone sometimes gives a lot of a mental, mental breakthrough, or maybe ease up their mental blockage, so that they can understand and they can contribute and be a happier person. So understanding destiny, this is one of also the reason that you need to know what is your strength and weaknesses. Okay, now, so from the destiny chart or from the natal chart, so to speak, you can tell a lot of things. For example, your parents. How is your relationship with your parents? Or maybe your wealth ability. Maybe what did you inherited from your parents? Okay, what type of illness you are more prone to? What type of illness, right? So some people, why they always have gastric, but other people don't have gastric. And that's because some element in your body show that you are prone to this illness. And these type of people usually they like to think a lot. Why they like to think a lot? So those of you who have learned BaZi, do you know what element represents people who like to think a lot? You can put in the comment section. So for example, marriage. Also your party will tell you about your marriage. Will you have a happy marriage, or will you likely have to go through a divorce, something like that, right? So what are your potential problems or potential success? So this is also part of potential. Your party also tells you about children. Okay, the party tells you about your career. So what type of career is suitable for you? Right? A lot of people always talk about, wood is your favorable element, so therefore it's best you become a carpenter, right? So something like that, or go and plant trees, or fire is your favorable element, so you should go into fire industry, like fire protection, like restaurants, like sort of things. But the thing is that this industry related thing actually is not really that accurate. I think many people don't understand this part of linking the elements to the type of work you should do. Okay, so I will explain also why is that so. The reason is, inside each of our party, a part, remember earlier I was telling you about fate, things that you can't change about, but there also the other part of it, that is the circle of influence where we can change. So what is it that in the party that you can alter? One of it is your character. So the character part is very important in your Ming, because character is destiny. Destiny is character. And this is the part of it that you can actually influence. You can't influence your DNA. You can't change your wealth profile in your party. Right? You can improve it, but you can't change it. But the thing is, you can change your character. So if you can understand your own character and you can change that, then your life over the years will become better. But which part of the character you need to change? So this is where you need to get the information from the party itself. And everybody is different. Right? I can't generalize here, but everybody is different depending on your party profile. Okay, that's very much dependent on your own party profile. Usually people who thinks a lot are people who have a lot of earth element. Earth element people likes to think a lot. Water and metal is more towards people who imagine or fantasize more. It's part of thinking process, but they are skewed towards the imagination part. Whereas the earth people are the think about, sometimes they worry too much. Before the thing happens, they start thinking, oh, this thing can go back, that can go back, this can go back, So that is when people is too heavy earth element. So they can think non-stop. So understanding your own party is important. That is where you find this important information, and that's where you start to do the changes. Then with this correct knowledge and the right effort you put in over a period of time, your destiny will be altered. That's why this is very, very important to know. Okay, so Yoon. So the Yoon is the luck, right? So every 10 years we change one luck. So sometimes why some people, when they reach their 30s and 40s, suddenly they become very famous, or suddenly they went bankrupt, right? So I had many cases, but this client of mine is a very unique one, because when I read his party, I see that his first 20 years was very good, but this current luck that when he came to see me is not very good. So I asked him, is it true? He said yes. Why? Because the element in the party shows that it's an unfavorable period, especially when it comes to money. And true enough, what happened was, the last 20 years he made a lot of money, but these 10 years he secured a very good deal. So a good deal that is seemingly very good, that has a potential to give him an early retirement, 1 year later turned out to be a big mess, big problem, and cost him a lot of money. So for the last 3-4 years, before he came and see me, he has been struggling to solve this problem. But the problem keep it's going down like hill, keep going down. It's like unstoppable. You don't ask him why, because he also cannot explain why. So a man with 20 years experience in the business, who have done well in the last 20 years, how come suddenly, with all his knowledge, experience, expertise, connections that he built over 20 years, and yet he's still not able to solve his current problem? Now, this is the amazing part of the luck. So if you understand your luck is not good, then you will know that this project that you're going to get potentially might give you a big problem later on. That is why you understand the luck is very important. Some people, when they enter the luck, they have potential to have illnesses. Like, for example, we're not talking about cough or flu. We're talking about terminally ill, like cancer, things like that, right? Because when you enter the luck, it's not good. That could potentially trigger something, okay? So that's why the luck is very dynamic and goes along. But the luck alone also will tell you when you have children, when you're likely to have marriage, or when you're likely to have a divorce as well. Right? So there are many things you can dig out the information from the luck. Okay, so if your luck cycle is no good during the young age, it's okay, because importantly, the old age your luck must be good, so you don't have to suffer. So what is, in practical terms, what is a luck look like? A luck is like the road you are traveling. So if are you traveling on a straight road, on a tar road, or are you traveling on a tar but winding road, or are you traveling off-road? So if you are traveling off-road, then you've got bad luck. You travel in a straight tar road, that is considered very good luck, right? That is why sometimes in your life, especially those of you who have lived beyond 55, you will know why there are certain time period in your life, everything's so smooth, so wonderful, right? At that time, you think that you are the most capable person in this world. But when the period has gone, then suddenly you feel, oh, why this period I have a lot of obstacles, one after another, non-stop. And then suddenly you realize that, oh, all my expertise, my connections, my so-called network suddenly doesn't work anymore. Then you start to doubt your ability. So I have this case also, a student of mine shared with me. So when I read her party, I said, oh, your last 10 years, you would have done very well. And true enough, during that 10 years, many promotions, right? But I say this luck is not good. It's not good for you, because you are now in the down cycle. And true enough, she shared with us is that, so things have changed in the company as well. So even though her position is the same, but unfortunately, things were not the same as before, because now the boss is not think there was a lot of obstacles and things like that. So at one point of time, this person actually think that, well, am I really that not capable? Why everything that I suggest, the boss always say no? Always pour cold water onto my suggestions. Am I that lousy? You know, this kind of thinking starts to creep into the mind. And if this person is strong, it's fine. But what if that somebody has a weak mind? Then very quickly this person will fall into depression. Over the years, it goes on like this, unresolved, right? That's why some people, when they go to the extreme point, they will commit suicide. So this is a cumulative thing. So, but when I told her, I said, no, it's not because you have no ability, it's just because your luck is not that good. So when our luck is not good, naturally we will have a lot of obstacles. It's very, very normal, right? So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just go along with the flow, okay? It's just that you are now driving off-road. So even you have a Porsche, off-road is not a very pleasant ride. So you just have to go slow, right? Go slowly. That's life. Sometimes we must know when to go slow, when we should be speeding. But sometimes there are times when you need to go slow. So that is the role of the luck. So the luck is to tell us what are we going to go through. Now, after we talk about all these, a little bit of what is this destiny thing about, we talk about what is the purpose of luck, what is the purpose of destiny, Ming and Yun, right? And how they can affect us in life. So let me share with you a little bit about this astrology system. Now, astrology in Chinese, there are two types, okay? But the one that we are talking about today is the BaZi system, which I already show you the anatomy of it, right? So you have two charts, one short one and one with a very lengthy one, right? So that's the natal chart and there's a luck cycle. Now, how this astrology is being derived? Chinese has a very long history of human civilization. In fact, one of the longest. And Chinese people are known to be very practical people. So how they come up with all this wonderful art to tell the destiny is because they observe nature. Because our nature gives us answer to everything. It's not religion, it's the nature. See, realistic. Right? Every day you go through, day and night, right? You go through day and night. The sun will rise in the east, it sets in the west. It's very realistic. And nature is very unbiased. Unbiased in the sense that it doesn't have emotions. It doesn't pick sides. He doesn't side you, he doesn't side me. Right? When the time is for me to thrive, I will thrive. When the time is for you to shine, you will shine. So nature is unbiased. So when winter comes, well, the autumn will go. When the spring comes, winter will go. And it goes on. So nature is very unbiased. And through this observation of this natural phenomena, they devised this system of astrology. And this system of astrology has two main building blocks. Okay, so I will share with you what are the main building blocks. And that's why observing nature itself, we build many wonderful systems like BaZi, like Feng Shui, is all from the observation of nature. Okay, so if you understand nature well, you will understand how all these things work. Okay, even the Feng Shui is the same. There are many classics that talk about like things like heaven has 5 qi, earth has 5 forms. What is the meaning of this thing? Most people don't really understand. They will think that it's stems and branch, and it will tell you many things. But actually, it's a very simple thing. But it's decoded. It's written in a very tricky way only, right? So you need to understand all these things. Okay. So the first fundamental building block they observe is this thing called 5 elements. If you look around you now, everything is virtually made of these 5 little things: earth, metal, and water. Actually, the word metal is also not a very accurate translation, because in Chinese it's called jing. Jing is not gold, no. Jing is all kinds of metal. They call jing. So metal is just one type of thing. Aluminium can be a metal, gold can be a metal. There are many things that consist of metal. It's a very broad thing, but generally it always translates to metal. So I will just use the same terminology, right? Metal. Okay, so you know that 5 elements. So they all observe everything in this world is made of these 5 elements. Now, these 5 elements, not only their existence is there, they also represent many things. Like for example, wood. Wood represents benevolence, right? Wood represents east direction. Wood represents growth. Wood also represent things like green color. They're given a color green and things like that. So every element the same. So fire is about passion, fire is red, fire is the south part, so the earth is the central. Earth is about stability, about dependability, right? Water is about flow, intelligence, things like that. So there are many things. Metal about altruism, friendship, right? About decisiveness. Metal is about ability to take stress. But wood is more of perseverance, right? Perseverance is more of wood. Quietness is earth, things like that, right? So the five elements is actually a very profound knowledge. So when you understand these fundamental five elements, they observe, oh, this world actually is made of these five elements. And then further on, these five elements have a relationship. Oh, now you see there's a relationship. So they don't live in isolation. They have a relationship. So if you look at the blue arrows here, it shows what we call a production relationship. So they say that, oh, the earth actually gives life to the metal. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? You find all the metal inside the earth. So the metal gives life to water. Water gives life to wood. Wood gives life to fire. So this is known as the production relationship. But between five of them, they also have this love and hate thing now. So they love each other is when they produce. So when they hate each other, they will control. So metal will control the wood. Then the wood will control the earth, crack the earth. The earth will block the water, so it controls the water. Water will put out the fire, so it controls the fire. And fire will melt the metal, so it's like bullying the metal. So this relationship is called control. So they have this so-called love-hate thing. So among the five of them, they always have this love-hate thing. But if you look at our life, human life, you live in isolation, right? You depend on your spouse depends on you. You dependent on your mother dependent on you. You dependent on your colleague also depend on you, right? So you depend on the leadership to solve this pandemic crisis. And the leadership, also the government, also dependent on us to do our part to reduce the transmission. So everything in this world is interdependent. Nobody is in isolation. And that's why when the Chinese, the ancient people, they observe this, they realize that these five elements cannot live in isolation. They are dependent on each other. So it's the same, like when you talk about supply chain. Supply chain is a multiple processes that's linked together, right? So if any of these process fail, then the whole supply chain is cut off. So it's the same. So five element relationship, if you understand this thing alone, you can read BaZi pretty well. Okay, but it looks very simple, but the idea or the knowledge behind it is actually very, very deep and profound. Now, after they have observed the five elements, the existence of the five elements, then they further observe something that is this black and white thing. Now, this black and white thing is called a Tai Chi diagram. This is not Taoism. Taoism has two dots. Taoism has a black dot somewhere here, then a white dot somewhere here. That is Taoism. But this is not Taoism. This is I Ching. Come from I Ching. I Ching is from the observation of nature. So why they put it black and white? Okay, because there's one part is called the yang part, one is called the yin part of it, right? So why they look at this yin and yang thing? Because they observe that in life, everything has yin and yang, right? You're day and night, right? So one yang, one is yin. So they keep changing, they keep rotating. moving, yin yang, yin yang, yin yang. So day and night, day and night, day and night. Or they observe that everything has two parts to it. Men have women. Even animals have male and female, right? You have a male, you have a tiger, then you have also the female tigers, right? So everything they observe, oh, there's actually a male and female to everything. So they look at the wood. True, even wood element has yin yang. So the yang element of the wood is called the jia wood. So the jia wood, they use the metaphor as the tree, isn't it? Because the tree is yang, yang is male. Male is what? Strong, big, tough, rugged. Female, flexible, soft, beautiful, gentle. So then they call this yi wood. So they are just names, just names. They have no meaning by themselves. Just names assigned to it, that's all. So like why you call Sam, because your mother called you Sam, right? So that's the only thing, right? It doesn't mean anything else. So Peng is the yang fire, so it's represented by the sun. The Ting is the little fire, right? That you used to cook. Those days we don't have a stove, so we just cook like this. Every day was. Then they have the yang earth, the mountain, the big chunks of earth. Of course, you also have the yin earth, which is the soil. The soil actually is very flexible, right? You can move the soil, but you can't move the mountain, right? Then metal, you have hard metal. Hard metal like axe, it's very brutal, it's very unrefined, things like that. Then you have the soft metal, like beautiful metal like gold. Soft gold is very soft. You can melt gold very easily, right? So there's soft metals and things like that. So it's just a metaphor they use. Water also, see, seawater, very strong current, very big, huge, deep, right? So these are characteristics of yang. And then you have the rain. Of course, I'm not referring to a thunderstorm. I'm referring to a gentle rain, right? So it's very soft, very nice, cooling, and things like that, right? So because of these 5 elements together with the yin yang, they created this thing called the 10 heavenly stamps. So 10 heavenly stamps actually represents 10 different types of energy. So they created the first part of it. Okay, so by understanding the energy level, and later on they created the other part of it, which is known as the branches. So the branches, they are 12. So why they have 12 of it? That's because they observed that they know that the earth actually so these are the Gregorian hours. 2 hours represented by 1 Chinese hour. So there are 12 of it. 12 of it. So you can also use the same 12 early branches to represent seasons. For example, February is represented by Yin, March is Mao, April is Chen. So these are collectively spring. Then you have Si, Wu, Wei to represent summer. So now that we are on the 6th of June, actually we are already in the Wu month. Okay, so in the Wu month. So and goes on like this. And of course, zodiac, you say, like for example, Zi is coinciding with the rat. They are not the same thing, but they just correlated it. So the Chou is the ox, the Yin is the tiger, and it goes on. So like for example, now we are in the, some people say that we are in the horse month because we are in the Wu month, right? Wu month in June. But by the way, I just let you know, our Chinese calendar does not start on the 1st of June. Wu month starts around the 5th or 6th of June usually. Okay, so it's a little bit different from the Gregorian system. Okay, so we don't start exactly on the 1st. We always start a few days, a couple of days later. Sometimes 3rd, sometimes 4th, sometimes 6th, sometimes 7th, sometimes even as late as 8th of the month. Okay. Now, so these things are all coming from where? coming from the solar calendar, because Chinese has two calendars, one lunar calendar, the other one is a solar calendar. And solar calendar is very consistent because the rotation of the earth around the sun is very consistent. Okay, so that's why it's very consistent with the solar system. And that is the reason why BaZi has the advantage in terms of precision when we talk about the luck cycle changing. This is because it's based on the solar calendar. Okay, it's based on the solar calendar. Okay, now Chinese New Year is based on lunar calendar, so you must be aware of that. So Chinese New Year doesn't mean you're already moved to another zodiac year. The zodiac year changing is dependent on the solar calendar. Yeah, so it's dependent on the solar calendar, which usually is around the 4th of February, plus minus 1 day. Okay, so it's not based on Chinese New Year. Now, after they have got the branch, they have got the stem, they combine the branch and stem together and they form this thing called the 60 pillars, right? There is the one pillar. One pillar consists of one stem and one branch. So they have these 60 pillars. So you know why Chinese always say when you reach 60, they make a big celebration for your birthday. Because they say you've gone through one cycle of your life. So if you pass through one cycle, the rest of it is bonus. That's the reason why they have a big celebration when you reach 60. So this thing is very unique. You see, there are 10 stems, 12 branches. So rightfully, mathematically, you should have 120, but they only have 60 pillars. Why 60? Because they have a system or a rule to how to connect the stem and the branch together. They don't simply just connect like that. They have a system to do that. So because of that, they reduce it to 60. So now what's the purpose of having a pillar then? Well, actually, the pillar is the building blocks of calendar. The Chinese calendar, the Chinese solar calendar system is made of the pillars. So that is the reason why BaZi sometimes is known as 4 pillars of destiny, because there is 4 pillars. One is the year pillar, month pillar, day pillar, and the hour pillar. And that's the reason why you have this thing. Okay, now it's very interesting. This pillar tells you 2 things: timing and an outcome. So they tell you 2 things: one timing, one outcome. That is why when you go through a major luck, you see the change in one pillar. But one pillar will tell you what will happen in your life during that 10 years. Okay? So how important is one pillar? So if you look at that, if you have 60 pillars for the year, 60 pillars for the month, 60 possible pillars for the day, and hour, you probably have half of it, because they share half of it. So you know, if you add this, you times this, multiply this together, there are millions of formation. We're talking about just the natal chart itself already have about 6 to 7 million possible formation. So in a lifetime, how possible is it for me to read all 6 million charts? Not possible, right? I think no master in his lifetime can do that many. Now, that's 6 over million here. What about the Yun, the luck? Because the male will go in this direction, the female will go in the opposite direction. So male and female, again, U times 2. So that's almost 13 million formations, So BaZi is very unique in the sense that it has almost 13 million possibilities. So it represents the people's life is very different from one another. I have not seen one person with the same chart, 2% of the same chart. I have not met one. If you have met 2% of the same chart, you are very lucky, right? You can decode a lot of mystery in life. Whereas unfortunately, not many have. Okay. Okay, so that's how many formation or possibility there is with the BaZi. So why we learn BaZi? Because BaZi is we derive from nature. So by observing nature, everything is very realistic, very true, very unbiased. So the BaZi itself will tell us our capabilities and our success area. Many a times we think that we are good in this, but actually we are not, right? We miss out a lot of things because we do not know our actual potential. But your BaZi will tell you, right? Some people discover that through accident, right? by chance. But how many are able to discover that by chance? Not many. Okay. And also, BaZi talks about our potential problems in life, talks about our health indication, or who is able to help us, who is going to harm us. Many years ago, I have a student. He came and when he was learning that, I said, "Oh, I think this period of time you have a big money loss, and this money loss is due to one of your relatives, probably your brother lah." He said, "Yeah, very true. I have a big problem that time because the company was under the company belongs to this student, but the brother name was in the company, and the brother used the company and took the funds out for his own personal use and landed the company in big trouble." Yeah, so that was the period. So if you know who can harm us and who can help us, then you will know where to or who to turn to when you need help, or who you should be extra careful. So that's why BaZi is good to know, because this is a lifetime knowledge. Nobody can take it from you once you learn it, right? But important you learn the right thing, then you will be able to check it out, who's going to help you and is going to harm you. And also, like for example, how do I deal with people? Earlier, as I said, BaZi is not fatalistic. It's fatalistic when you don't know. Why do I say that? It's very simple. So, example, you have a indication of divorce in your BaZi. But if you understand your BaZi, you know about it, then you will communicate differently with people, your husband, or maybe the way you deal with your husband or your wife will be very different. And that by itself can reduce the chances of going through a divorce. This is something that is within our circle of influence, but that is provided you know the thing ahead, right? Most of the time we go through our destiny without understanding, without realizing that that thing is going to come. And when we hit it, then only we realize, but it's too late. It's too late. The ill feelings have been there for 10, 20 years. It's just waiting for a time to burst. Right? And that's the reason why knowing BaZi is to know ahead, so that we know how to deal with these people. And also have clients who show me their problems with their children and things like that. So when you look at the BaZi, you can roughly already tell, oh, you have a problem with your son, right? Say yes. And I say your son is very rebellious. Say yes. And I look at your chart, you like to nag. True or not? Say yes. So this is nature, right? So if you know your son is a very rebellious and a very practical, straightforward person, you don't try to nag him. Because knowing the fact that your destiny in his life is very thin. There's very little affinity between the son and the mother. So you don't push. If you push it, the harder you push, the harder you force it upon him, the more rebellious he will become. So if you know this thing ahead of time, you would have handled it differently, or you would let somebody else to handle it, right? And the ill feeling will not grow. If the ill feeling doesn't grow, then the chances of reconciliation is very high. But once you have a bad feeling for many years, it's not an overnight thing that you can overturn it, right? So life is very practical, very realistic. So we must know how to deal with this type of things. So that's the advantage if you know party. Yeah? So for example, let's take career as an example. Since everybody, men and women nowadays, are in career life. So let's talk about career. Let's look at this person. Okay, so this person is me or you. So your question is, what is my strength in my career? Now some people, their strength is coming from their fans. They have ability to build fan base, right? Because when they go and talk on stage, people get attracted to them very easily. So they have ability to build fan base. Some people don't have ability to build fan base, but they have a lot of good friends, good associates, who always help them when they need help. Very friendly friends or associates, right? Or colleagues, they're very supportive colleagues. But not everybody has it, right? So let's say you are a metal person. So the next element that you produce is the water element. The water element will represent your skill sets, your ability to perform, your skill, your talents, right? But what skill set do you have? Everybody is different. Some people are cooks, they're very good in cooking. Some people are very good in art. Some people are very good in talking. Right? Some people are, there are many people with different skill sets. And they work with their hands. These type of people work with a network. They make money from their network with their fans, right? Royalties and things like that. These people work with their hands. Like maybe you are very good in repairing, you are very good auto mechanic. So you work with your hands. So you have this special skill. Right? Some people is, let's say the wood element, right, is very good in, for example, financial. They're very good with numbers. They're very good. They have very good business sense. Some people are very good in speculation. So some people have this talent. So therefore, when you have this type of talent, that's because your chart shows probably you have a very good strength in this. So if you know you are good in this, naturally you want to be your own boss, right? You're not going to be a employee, because an employee probably you'll be a CFO, but you're managing somebody else's money. So it depends the strength of your party. Okay, everybody is different. But some people, they have a wood element. For example, they call the wealth element, right, in the party. But why they're always poor? And then because in their party, it shows that their money ability to manage money is very weak. So you don't go and do this kind of business. You don't go into business. You don't go into managing money, right? Because you bankrupt the company. So there are different people with different profiles. Okay? You must understand your own strength of party. Okay, some people, they make money, or their career comes to authority, like being a CEO, or maybe they are the policeman. No? So some people are ministers. Some people, so different people have different profiles. So people with authority, they make money differently, right? Their career path is also very different, right? Some people, they have knowledge. Knowledge, why knowledge? Because earth element produces metal. So this is known as your knowledge. So some people, they are not very good in talking, but they are very intelligent people. So they make their money by perhaps teaching, perhaps by research. For example, they do research. They come up with new innovative products and things like that. Now, some people have two skill sets. Like some people have fan base and money together. So you can make a lot of money from building fan base. Oh. So some people have very good skill set and money. So they make use of their skills to make money. So everybody is different. So you must look at your party. But you must know your strength. What are you capable for? If you are a person not suitable to be an accountant, for example, you have very poor financial business, don't go and study accountancy, right? Study something that is to your strength. But what is your strength? So you have to look at your party to find the useful God. Once you know the useful God, then you will know what is the strength that you should be doing. And depending on your party, if you have an average party, most of the time you will notice the person will be doing, they will be in a career that is not their useful God. People who have a very good party, high grade party, they naturally can find their talent very easily. It comes very natural to them. That's because they have a good party, so they are destined to be successful. So they'll find that success very fast. But most of us, usually you will be in something that is not your strength. Yeah? In a career that's not your strength. Yeah? So this is the reality of life. So to know is to find out from your party. The clue is what is your useful God, and you do what your useful God tells you to do. Then your success will be cut short, and you will have fulfillment in life. Right? You have more fulfillment in life because you're doing the things that is naturally useful to you. Because as I said earlier, nobody wants to be a useless person. Everybody wants to be a useful person to your family, to yourself, to society as well, right? So doing the things that your useful God asks you to do is the key to fulfillment, right? Otherwise, you'll be doing a lot of things, but you're not happy because you don't feel sense of fulfillment, right? That is the ultimate level, right? Those of you who study management, you have studied Maslow's 5 hierarchy. The highest level is what? Self-actualization, right? That is self-fulfillment. So when you have self-actualization, then you are a very happy person. You're a fulfilled person, right? Then when you die, your eyes will close, right? So you won't die with eyes open. Right? So that's about the thing. Luck, luck is something you need to know. Okay, next year, for example, is it going to be a good year for me or not? Should I go ahead with the investment or not? What is likely going to happen? Like I have a student from last year, we already seen his party. We know this year is going to be a tough year for him. So we prepared something ahead of time. So, and when now it's June, right? So from February, March, April, May, June, 5 months, 4.5 months into this ox year, right? A lot of problems. He has a lot of problems coming out of nowhere, coming from all directions, right? But somehow he managed to overcome these problems. Reason is because last year we already anticipated these issues. So he changes the way he deals, he changes his strategy to adapt to the situation. Right? Because he has been mentally alerted since last year, right? So he has made changes to his expectations, the way he decide how he approach the problem, right? Who he can talk to, and things like that. So maybe also he did some improvement on his house function, right? So to ensure that he will have less had a smoother ride, right? So these are some things you can learn from understand from your own luck cycle. A few years ago, I told one of my students, I said, "Oh, next year you're likely going to have some problem with the law. Better be careful, especially with money things. So must be your income tax." And true enough, the year after when he met me, he said, "Yeah, last year I had some problem with I had to pay a small fine, but lucky it was a small fine, right?" So, but these are things that sometimes it could happen. So from the party, the luck is to tell you that. So luck is like this, like what road are you traveling? Are you traveling a smooth straight road or a winding road or whatever? Now it's important why we should know our luck, coming luck cycle. Why? Because when you reach the next 10 years, it's like you're opening a new door. Do you know what's behind this new door? Is it going to be a pot of gold, or is it going to be a tiger waiting to eat you up, right? So just like my client earlier, as I shared his story with you, he has been doing well for the last 20 years. So he thought that naturally everybody would think that the next 10 years is going to be good as well, right? Or maybe at one point he was so confident about his ability that he thought it's going to be a piece of cake. But he didn't know that at that time when he went into this luck cycle, it was a downturn for him. And he put in all the eggs in one basket. And that's why he went down. Almost to the point of bankruptcy. Very close. He told me it's very close to bankruptcy. Anytime he said, if I don't manage this well, very quickly he will reach bankruptcy level. Right? So because you must understand your luck. Is your coming 10-year luck is going to be good or bad for you? So are you prepared for it? So if you're not, then you might be into a big surprise. So these are the things that why we need to know and understand our luck cycle. So the key thing that I've been trying to tell you all this while is this. Information that you get ahead of time is always the key to winning, to avoid a lot of unnecessary problems. And if you are not able to avoid everything, well, sometimes life is like this. You cannot avoid everything. At least we were forewarned. So we could have reduced the impact of that problem. So let me share a story with you. I think most of you have heard about this Battle of the Red Cliff, right? In the Three Kingdoms. Zhuge Liang. You know Zhuge Liang? I think now it's okay already, right? So why this story about? How many of you don't know who is Zhuge Liang or the Battle of the Red Cliff? Yeah. So this Battle of Red Cliff is like this. You know why Zhuge Liang won this battle? Zhuge Liang won the Battle of the Red Cliff, but he did not win the war during the Three Kingdoms. Three Kingdoms was won by Cao Cao. Zhuge Liang did not help his boss, Liu Bei, to win the war. No, he just won this Battle of the Red Cliff very beautifully. Now, what is the story about this thing? Okay. Zhuge Liang knew to win this battle, because of the terrain. It's a river bank. So a river bank with two sides is a high mountain, high hills. So virtually you are only along that river. So because of the terrain is like this, he knew that the strategy that he will use is a decisive one, is to use the fireboat strategy. But in order for the fireboat strategy to work, he must know when to attack, because the time to attack is when the eastern wind will come. When the eastern wind will blow his ship and then ram onto the Cao Cao's team on the west side of the river. So the question is, how do you know when the eastern wind will come? You think he really can borrow eastern wind? That's bullshit, because he know how to see when the eastern wind is coming. He got tips when the eastern wind is coming. So with this knowledge, he has time to prepare. For example, he knows that the eastern wind will come in 3 days' time at the hour of Chen. So he has time to prepare, isn't it? So he prepared his bow, his arrows, whatever that he needs to prepare. But in order for his strategy to succeed, he has to do the other part of it. So he sent one of his friends, who is very close to some of the Cao Cao generals, to convince them to tie the boat together. And when his friend sent the message back to Zhuge Liang that, oh, I have succeeded my mission. The Cao Cao team has already tied the boats together. Then Zhuge Liang know, 3 days from now is my time to attack. And that's how he won the Battle of the Red Cliff so beautifully. The only reason he was able to do that was because he knew when the eastern wind will come. There is information ahead of time. If he had not known, you think what? Suddenly he wake up, oh, eastern wind coming, oh, come on, man, quickly, get onto your boat, wear your uniform, we're going to attack now. It's too late. You cannot get your men in time. So, because he knew information ahead of time, that is why insider trading in share market is forbidden, because you already know ahead of time. So if you know anything ahead of time, it's always advantageous to you. That's why this is the art, why Chinese always want to learn this thing. Because you know the thing ahead, you have time to prepare for it. If you don't know the thing, you don't know when to prepare. Okay? Same with Feng Shui, it's the same. No different. You know how to see the stars, how they rotate, you will know next year you have good or bad life. So then you're able to prepare ahead of time. Okay, when the bad energy will come, so you'll be prepared. So then you minimize the problem, isn't it? So that is the purpose of learning BaZi. So you see, learning BaZi is like this. Your BaZi and your luck cycle gives you a lot of information. But this information needs an action. And that's where you do the action either by your personal effort, by making a right decision, or maybe by Feng Shui to assist. But if you look at this thing, destiny actually holds a big chunk of your life. It's not 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. It's not like this. It's destiny and luck makes more than 1/3. And because it's more than 1/3, that is why you see some people, they don't know Feng Shui. Like some people, Indians, some Swedish people, Americans in the past, they don't know Feng Shui, but they still can become very successful in life, right? That's because they have the destiny and the luck for it. Good enough. If you have these two, you don't even need Feng Shui. You can just make do with effort, destiny, you can make it in life. But if you don't have these two, then you will need this to assist. So this is like a turbocharger. So you need to turbocharge your car. So the Feng Shui is the part of it. Now, doing all these things, you see, the center of Chinese thinking is always prevention. Right? If you see a piece of shit right in front of you, you try to avoid stepping on shit, right? That is the ultimate purpose in life. Because you want to know the information ahead of time. Oh, you saw the shit right in front of you. So you're not going to step on it. Now, after you step on it, then you say, oh, shit, now is a good excuse for me to buy a new pair of shoes. That is positive thinking. That is the after event thing, you see. But Chinese philosophy is always about prevention. Even in traditional Chinese medicine, it's the same. It's not wait until you have cancer, then only I cure you, right? It's before you have cancer, I prevent the cancer from happening, because you want to regulate your body before you get into a deep shit, get into serious illness. You cure it first. So the center of Chinese thinking has always been prevention, right? That is why the Chinese, they like to use the word regulation, 條理. So you don't wait until you have serious illness, then you start talking about what cure, too late. So you want to prevent the problem from happening first. Or if it's happened, at least it's a small, manageable size. It's not an unmanageable size, right? So the purpose of all these things is this. It's very simple only. It's very realistic. It's very unbiased, and it's very observable. You look around your life. If you live past 55, I'm sure you know. If your son asks you why you're not successful, daddy, you will give him 1,000 reasons why you're not successful. But the point is that not everything in life is within one person's control, not within our own personal control. And many things have to come together. And to achieve success, you need a bit of luck. That is when you must understand your destiny and your luck. So to tell you that destiny cannot be changed is true. But to tell you that destiny can be altered is also true. Right? So you can alter your destiny, but you cannot change your destiny. So if somebody comes and tell you, hey, I'm going to change your life, I'm going to be with transformational change, you can forget it. I can tell you, you can go to Anthony Robbins, you'll be very happy over the weekend. The next month, you're still the same person, very likely. Unless your luck cycle change, right? Unless coincidentally your luck cycle change at that time, then you have some success story. Most of the time, it's like this. Now, I'm not saying that you should be giving up your life or whatever, feel demotivated. But I'm saying that we should live life in a more realistic manner. So we can improve our life, right? We can improve our life by means of effort, right choice, with the right knowledge, we make the right choice. So sometimes it's like a situation where a person who is earning 3,000 every month, what the right knowledge and the right effort, maybe with a little bit of feng shui, he now earns 6,000 a month. Yes, 6,000 a month doesn't make you a millionaire. But if you compare to before when he was earning 6,000, his life has doubled, right? His income has doubled twice. And that will change the quality of his life as well, standard of living. Yeah. So improvement is possible. So, but you must have the right tools and knowledge to do that. Okay, so that is my presentation for today. Is basically to let you understand that the fundamental building blocks of these things, so that when you go for a BaZi reading or whoever, right, you know what question to ask, what do you expect out of it, right? If you are learning, you're a student, so where you must learn how to find the right advice for your friends or your clients, so that you know how to tell them this is the way how to change it. Okay, so the technical part I don't have time to talk about it because it will take days. So I just want to open some awareness today, over the weekend, especially when we are in a pandemic, to learn something and gain something, some new insights into our life, and where we can start to seek some improvement. Okay, so with that, I end my presentation. So for those of you who has a little bit of knowledge on BaZi, you want to stay back, I don't mind. I can share with you a BaZi if you want. So it's a very simple case study. So if you want to listen, you just say yes, then I will just continue. So thank you for coming and supporting. Okay. Okay, so if you like to listen to the case study, it's about this person, Nina Wang. Okay, so if you like to listen, then you just say yes, I will just continue. So those of you who have something to catch up, you can might as well just Okay, so let me share with you. It's a very interesting case actually. Now, this is the BaZi of Nina Wang. Now, Nina Wang is, I don't know how many of you know her. She's from Hong Kong. She is, she passed away in 2007. And at the time of her passing, I think she has about 4 over billion US dollar net worth. So that makes her what you call the richest woman in Asia at the time of her death. So what is unique about this Nina Wang's party? Now the biggest thing about her life has always been evolved around the husband. So actually Nina and the husband was childhood lovers. So they knew each other since a very young age. But they grew up together and they finally got married. And the husband actually has the business. This is the family business, China Cam. And at that time, the husband called Teddy Wang. So Teddy Wang was first kidnapped in 1983, I think. Yeah. And they paid a ransom of 33 million Hong Kong dollars. And of course, the kidnappers actually kept their promises. They returned Teddy Wang after paying the ransom. So they thought everything was fine until 1990, 7 years later, then another kidnapping happened. So this time, Teddy Wang didn't come back. I think, if I'm not wrong, until today, nobody knows where is the whereabouts of Teddy Wang. So the court eventually has to rule that he is deceased, and so that Nina can inherit the inheritance from the husband. So after Nina inherited the China Cam, she slowly built another company which is in the property business and grew that company into a very big one as well. That's how she amassed so much wealth for herself. And that was a little bit about her life story. So the question is, the interesting question here is, why did Teddy Wang was kidnapped twice and finally didn't make it back? This can be seen from the wife's party. So how do you do that? Now, a party, as I told you earlier, that is always about your things that is going to happen in your life, right? So let's say this red color thing, this soil, is representing Nina herself. So she's a soil. So you must imagine for a while there is a lump of soil here. So you see the same character here, right? Another soil here, right? So this is the sisters, siblings. The mum is always the siblings. So the siblings is very close to her. And in fact, actually, during the court case, the final days of her life, she has a court case, and then the sisters actually fought for a foundation, for her foundation, the foundation that she set up. Okay, so the sisters actually fought in the court case for the foundation. And this court case also actually involved a few feng shui master inside. So her life also actually evolved around a little bit of feng shui. But never mind, that's not the point now. Today I want to tell you. So where she can amass that wealth in her party. So you see, there's a water here. The cloud, right? So the cloud is actually her money. It's representing her money. So the cloud is the money. And you see her career. Now, the hour actually, earlier I was telling you the hour is very important, right? One of the key representation of hour is the career palace. It's the career. We call it a career. So when you see the money on top with the career, and this money is the useful god, then this person are likely to achieve very big, can achieve big things in life, especially related to money. And true enough, at her death, she's the Asia's richest woman. But to achieve the money, you must have the ability to achieve it. So how does she achieve it? So you see, actually, she has this rooster here. She has two rooster here. So this rooster actually represents the metal, right? So earth produce metal. Metal is your ability to work. So this lady not only have money, but she has the ability to build that money, to find that money. That's why she not only can manage China Cam, she also managed the new property business. So if a person is not capable, how can that be achieved? Managing a company is not an easy thing, right? Especially when you want to grow it to a good size, it's very, very hard. So, but she managed to do it because she has the ability and the destiny to achieve the mass, to amass the money. So you see from her party, you already know that this person, when I first saw her party, I already knew this person can be very well to do. And true enough, she is. So happened then later on, I know it's Nina Wang. Okay, so that's how you can see a person's party. But why does the husband have this problem? Now you look at it. So the husband actually is represented by this flower in this party here, down here, this little tiny fella. Okay, so this little tiny thing is the husband. So the marriage has no problem because this is the marriage palace. So the marriage has no problem because there's no clashes, nothing, right? So it's okay. Her marriage is fine. In fact, her marriage was good with the husband. The relationship was good. But the husband got a problem. So you see, why? The husband is the flower here. And this flower is surrounded by two sing metal. Sing metal is represented by a scissor. Scissor. So what does a scissor do to the flower? Cut the flower, right? So one left, one right. So cut. What happened? The flower die. Correct or not? So when the flower die, represents what? So the husband in her luck will have a difficult time. So you see, your life is not only dependent on you, your own party. Who you marry is also important. That will increase your life or decrease your life. But I'm not asking you to go back and check your spouse party and then blame each other. No, that's not the point. But what I'm trying to say to you is that your life is not yourself alone. That's why in the old days, before you get married in China, you're going to match your two parties first, right? Matching your two parties is more important than you select a good date for your registration or for your wedding dinner. So many people select dates for wedding, still they divorce in the end, right? Not because destiny tell you you're going to divorce someday. So even you find a very good wedding day, so what? Eventually, the event may happen later on if you don't know about it, right? So that is why destiny is very important. Number one, most important thing. So you see this person, why the husband has difficult times surviving in the because this is the thing. The luck of the husband will go down. So I don't know how it will go down. Some people maybe the life shortened, some maybe the career will collapse, gradually collapse. So many things can happen. Also dependent on the husband's destiny chart. Okay, so how the two things interact each other. Okay, so this is a very classic, a very good example. I have seen many examples like that as well, but since she's a celebrity, I just might as well just share with you how this person, how can you see from the party why this person have these two major things. Why she can amass the wealth, why does the husband not able to survive. So this is the interesting thing about party. So party is, if you know how to read it, though it's only 8 characters, but if you know how to dig the layer of information, it can tell you quite a fair bit of things about your life. And usually they are quite accurate, because I have clients who have went for many other readings, different arts of destiny reading. They find the party is very accurate also, especially when it comes to the luck cycle. So this is pretty much the life of Nina Wang. Okay, And why she's always entangled with feng shui masters and all this thing. Part of the reason because she has this fire here. This fire is the intuitive side of her. So she's a very intuitive person. So you can see that her way of doing business is maybe less logical. It's more by gut feeling, right? Intuition. So every decision she makes, maybe it's 70% or 60-70% is intuition. 30-40% is based on facts. But because she has the destiny to become rich, so usually her intuition will lead her to the direction to make the right decision all the time. So the company grow, and then she amass the wealth. So this is the real thing about destiny. Okay. So any question? Any question? Interesting, right? So how you can see a person's destiny is like this, but you must get the right information first. So can your party tell 100% of your life? No. So if you tell a person you I got 90% accuracy, that's bullshit on it. Right? Most of the time, if you can get 60-70% accuracy from your own party chart alone, you're already a damn good reader. Most of the people out there can only get you 20 to maximum 30% only. So this is the reality of life. See, your life is not only dependent on your party. Sometimes it's also dependent from your children's party. Like once I had a friend, not a friend really, at the time we were classmates. So he's my junior. So he showed me a party. So he asked me, what do you think about this party? So I look at it and said, oh yeah. I said, well, this baby is good. After she's born, the father will slowly become rich. So he kept quiet. So I asked him, whose party is that? He said, my second daughter. So I said, is it true? After your second daughter was given birth, your business actually improved. He said, yes, true enough. So why? So you see, your party alone doesn't tell you everything about your life. Sometimes heaven will send some people to you. It's nothing about the children. It's not that the children bring you good luck or the children bring you bad luck. That's a very, very old-fashioned thinking. That's a very superstitious way of thinking. The reality to me is like this. Sometimes along life, you have done something good. Maybe. So heaven wants to give you a bonus. But how does heaven give you the bonus? It give you the child. Then the child with a good party will bring the energy luck to you. Because the child's destiny is to have a rich father. So if you are the father, you have to be rich in order to fulfill the child's destiny. Isn't it? So you see, sometimes it's like this. And if some children comes and to you and then, oh, you see why the party like that. I know why this child is a headache. Probably in your past you must have done something. That's why heaven sent you one to give you the headache. See, life, that is the reason why accumulating good deeds is very important. You want to change your life, you better accumulate good deeds. Of course, I don't say that you do good deeds now, you will get it tomorrow. No, maybe not this life, maybe next life. But nonetheless, it's always a very safe thing to do. Do the right thing, do the good things, then your life will eventually become better over time. Right? So these are some things you can pick up, signals that you can pick up from party. So if you know this skill is very good, it's going to help you for your life, help yourself, help your family, whether your son and your future daughter-in-law is going to be the right partner and things like that. So there's a lot of things that you can forewarn and save. Of course, not always that your children will listen exactly to you, right? But at least they have been forewarned. Right? At least they understand things how it's going to go. Okay, so it's already 5 p.m. Thank you for being so patient with me. So I hope you enjoy the session. Maybe sometimes later we can have another stream, but I will make sure the technical problems are resolved first. I'm so sorry about the delay. Okay. Okay. So with that, thank you so much. So wish you a pleasant weekend. Okay. Bye bye.